motherfucker.
All right, everyone, welcome back from break, and somehow my hat has changed magically here on the stream. No, what happened was, thanks to the very generous contribution of No Couture in part 1, we hit the tier 2 tips goal for the stream, and you guys voted during the break for this very silly military style or slash pilot hat, whatever you want to call it, that I'll be wearing for the rest of the show. So thank you for that. Thank you to No Couture. By the way, during the break, the whole Stream Elements thing fixed itself. It was only about a 15-minute break. It fixed itself, so now we're back. And no worries there. If you want a tip, please by all means do. Thank you for any contributions during today's stream. But let's continue. Let's jump further into the forum questions, shall we? All right. By the way, if you're watching this on demand on YouTube, you missed part 1. It should be live. Go check that out first. Now on to part 2. Okay. So we move on to Gustavo 123777, and let's see what he has to say, because this is a giant paragraph that I need to read first before we answer the question. Okay? Okay, here we go. Ready? Hey, Phil, there are times when life gets hard and our mind tries its best to make us give up and essentially flee from certain dangerous situations, when from my point of view, they're only there to make us grow as a person. One perfect example would be when you get a new job and you have that fear that we all know. It creeps in and it says, oh man, what if I'm not good enough for this job? What if I don't learn it right away or fast enough to be effective? I think these scenarios are very important because if you contemplate about it a little bit, when forced to get out of our comfort zones, we, most of the time, get very anxious and scared and thus have 3 options: fight, flight, or freeze. Very rarely do people have the mental capacity to think through these situations and take the best course of action. They generally run on or completely freeze. Having that in mind, what's your opinion on mental toughness? Do you think it is possible to train your mind so when something happens unexpectedly, we can be able to take action in a more resourceful way instead of letting our mind dictate our behavior? Yes, I do believe mental toughness is real. I do believe that you can train your mind to react differently to things. I can tell you firsthand from my experiences over the last 13 years as a content creator, I've had to do that. How many times, ladies and gentlemen, have I faced a roadblock that looks like it could be the end of the road for me as a content creator? Oops, I'm banned from YouTube. Oops, I'm banned from Twitch. Oops, I'm kicked out of a payment processor. Oops, this thing is going wrong. Oops, this horrible thing is said about me all over the internet and everyone thinks it's real, right? I couldn't even tell you how many times this has happened. And the same thing happens every time. I'll tell you, at first it was different. Here's what used to happen back in the day. I would get banned from YouTube. The very first time I got banned from YouTube, if you remember, over a decade ago, for something I didn't do. It was completely false. False copyright claims and bullshit. I got very, very upset. I got incredibly angry, okay? Back then, my reaction to everything was just rage. Straight up, seeing red, so furious at everything. And you would see me immediately go make a rant video about it, talk about it for like a half an hour, how fucking pissed I am, that bullshit, and these companies shouldn't have the right to do this to me, and blah, 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 right? Because that's initially how I reacted to everything back then, over a decade ago, was anger. Straight up, just angry about everything, okay? And then over a few times of stuff happening to me like that, and realizing that actually, none of it was ever legit. Like, the stuff that used to happen to me, the false copyright strikes and takedowns and things, it was all false. It was all some dickhead on the internet impersonating these companies, trying to basically get attention for themselves or get a rise out of me. And I realized that essentially that kind of reaction is what they want. That's literally the reaction that these people want. They want to see me get so upset and rage-filled. They get entertainment factor out of that. They feel, wow, I had a concrete effect on a person on the internet today. And so therefore, I can make them rage. I can make them go crazy by doing this fucked up thing to them. That's what they want, right? And also the thing is, after this kind of thing happened to me so many times, I literally became desensitized to it, you know? Like, at a moment's notice right now, this stream could go bloop offline. This video could get zoop blocked on YouTube, you know? I don't have any initial control over that at all. And it could happen. I mean, I've just come to accept the fact that my presence on the internet, as much as I would like to believe is wanted by a group of people, and that, for example, I've been on YouTube now since 2007. You would think that after 14 years of using a site, the site would be like, okay, we're okay with your content. It's good. Continue. It doesn't mean nothing. At a moment's notice, these things change, and all these mistakes are made, and things get screwed up, and your whole livelihood could be crushed under your foot like a bug at any moment. That's how screwed up the internet is. And I know that now, okay? So, when these things happen, I don't get angry anymore. I actually don't. It came to the point where it was happening so often, or at least a couple times a year, that basically I would just kind of like, okay, instead of letting the anger get to me and making a rage fucking video about it, I got to do something more rational. I have to now tackle this situation from a rational standpoint. Is this something that's fixable? Was it a mistake that I could get overturned? Was this something that was not a mistake, and now I'm done, being able to do business or broadcast on a certain site? What are the repercussions? Is this something that is just a temporary punishment for something that happened and it's a slap on the wrist? Or is this something that a business has made a decision there, I'm gone for good, right? Because this has happened so many times. This has happened with YouTube. This has happened with Twitch. This has happened with partner agreements that I've had with partnership networks, And after it happens so many times, you basically have to become way more mentally tough and not let your emotions get to you. Because every single time that one of these things happen and I feel like I'm mistreated or I'm being treated badly, if I just got insanely full of rage, I may not have really gotten to the bottom of what was going on. I may not have gotten the help that I needed to get these things overturned as quickly as sometimes I can get them overturned. And it's just not good for anyone to let that emotion overcome you. I understand. Now, here's the other thing, too. When this kind of stuff happens, I always get the same feeling. Okay, now I get this feeling in the pit of my stomach. This feeling of dread, this feeling of worry, this feeling of, is this the end? After all the work and effort and the time and the dedication and everything that we've been through, is this the end of it for me on the internet? Is this the end of the saga, right? Is this, And I know, logically in my head, I know that it doesn't matter what happens, what business does what to me, how someone mistreats me or whatever. There's always another solution. There's always another way to do things. If Twitch doesn't have me, I am on YouTube. If YouTube won't have me, there's a bunch of third-party companies. If they don't want me, there's Facebook. You know what I mean? There's a million places I can do what I want to do. I know that. I know that no matter what, I have a dedicated fan base that follows me around and will support me no matter where I go or what I do. Well, just look at what happened this year with me moving from Twitch to YouTube. It was a tough transition, but here I am going strong 4+ months later, and my channel is actually growing for the first time in many years. You can't really say that about stuff on Twitch. I'm actually having growth on YouTube for the first time in like 4 or 5 years, and it's actually turning out to be positive in the long run, which is amazing, okay? By the way, shout out to Nate the Great. Thank you for the resub. He said shout out to Lub. All right, thank you, Nate the Great. Appreciate that. But yeah, the way that I look at it now is very different than the way I used to. When I used to come out to one of these challenges, I absolutely let emotion get the best of me. But now I feel that I've been through the ringer enough, and enough of this crap has happened to me, that I just kind of say, well, it's just the next thing. Let's approach it logically and rationally. Let's not lose my cool, and let me just go ahead and do what I need to fix it and then move on, okay? I mean, just recently, we had people committing identity theft, okay? I found out that people had gotten information they definitely should not have had access to. They were doing fucked up things in my name, which is a federal offense. A federal crime. If this person was arrested, they would go to jail for like years of their life for doing this to me, okay? I had to spend so much time behind the scenes here trying to fix the damage that was done, not only to my credit, but other things that was happening. Like, really messed up stuff was happening. I didn't tell you guys because I'm not going to go into detail about it. There's no point in trying to give attention to these scumbags, okay? But the stuff that's like public on the internet is the tip of the iceberg of what was done in my name behind the scenes to try to ruin my life, that I basically had to go through a lot of, I had to contact a lot of people, pay a lot of money, and go jump through a lot of hoops, freeze everything possible with my identity to stop all that crap, okay? And the sad part about it is, like, it's not bad enough that all that's happening, but then on top of that, there's just blatant fraud, blatant misrepresentation of the facts, and lots of slander and defamation about me on the internet as a result of the identity theft that I can't really do anything about or combat, because I've literally been advised by legal counsel, just don't talk specifically about anything moving forward. Because again, now I've like I told you last year, that's what I was told when I was going through my bankruptcy. Like now I've literally been told straight up, point blank, just if you have to mention it vaguely because people know about stuff going on, just don't ever talk about specifics ever again like this. Because as you can see, all that will happen is that people will use those specifics to twist the truth and make you look bad. So there's no point in even talking about it because you'll never win. Like there's no winning battle against people who do this kind of shit to me. People are now committing federal crimes against me, right? And it's like, the lawyer is correct. The lawyer is correct. There's nothing I can do on a stream. There's nothing I can do talking to you guys. There's no video I can put out. Nothing can stop this behavior at this point. This is crime and this is mental illness. This is not the behavior of normal people. This is concerted, malicious activity against me to try to ruin my life. And the less that I talk about it and the less that I say about it, the better. So I'm taking the legal advice I have received. I am not going to go into detail about this shit anymore. But let me tell you something. If I didn't have a decade of abuse against me before this identity theft happened, I probably would have fucking lost it. All right? I can tell you, I've talked to people from outside of the internet realm, that people who don't know, don't watch my content on YouTube, don't know me as a content creator. And they found out that this had happened to me. And they actually reached out to me personally to say, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. It's all right. Everything's fine. You know, you don't have to worry too much about me and my wife or whatever here. We're all right. And they're like, really? How? With all the shit, all the slander about you on the internet, which they weren't even aware of. They're like, all this slander about you on the internet and shit. And now literally people taking the opportunity where someone committed federal crimes against you and trying to use that to further their own malicious purposes on the internet. How do you cope with that, right? The answer is mental toughness. I've been around now, the internet, 13 years as a public figure, all right? I've had so much shit done to me, whether it was doxing, whether it was being DDoS attacked, whether it was being swatted, all the malicious pranks and things that have happened to me and my family behind the scenes. You guys only know, I'm not exaggerating, you guys watching this probably know about roughly 30 to 40% of the stuff that's happened. That's about it. You don't know the extent of the stuff that this happened because the more you talk about it, the more people feel, oh, I got that rise out of Phil that I was looking for. Just like I said, when people are doing the false copyright strikes and shit, why are they doing it? Because they want to get that rise out of me. They want to see me be overreacting and be upset. That's what they want. They feel like they're powerless in real life, so let me do something anonymously on the internet to fuck with someone else's life so I can get that reaction. That's exactly what they're looking for, okay? So, why bother with it? I just let my mental toughness say, you know what? I've been through this before. This is not the worst. Like, undoubtedly, out of everything that's ever happened to me, okay? The worst thing that's ever happened to me was 5, 6 years ago, the accident or whatever, right? It happened. I publicly admitted it happened. It was a low point in my life where I was suffering from depression. I was in a really bad personal place in my life at the time when it happened, which is why it happened. And I got through that. Like, the way I see it, I know nothing worse than that will ever happen. Seriously, like, nothing worse than that will ever happen because that was the most embarrassing thing that could possibly happen. The only thing worse would be, like, if I was actually completely nude on the internet or something, right? Like, that would definitely be, like, that's the worst thing. That's never going to happen. I've never, ever in my life nude in front of a camera on purpose. That shit is never going to happen to me on purpose. I will make sure it can never happen, okay? I've taken every opportunity, every protection. There's no fucking way that could ever happen to me, okay? Thank God. So, with that being said, the worst has happened to me. And I've learned from it. I will never have that kind of thing ever happen again. Anything else that people does to me is just fucked up things that they do to me. It's, you know what I mean? Like, I did the dumbest thing I could possibly do. All right? And I'm not, you know what I mean? I've been at the lowest. I've been at the lowest point that I could be. So, I've come out of that. That was 5 years ago, right? Over 5 years ago. That's in the past. I've far surpassed it. I've evolved as a person. I've evolved as a content creator, okay? None of that is going to ever affect me ever again. Ever. So, I don't need to worry about that. All I need to worry about is the mental toughness to get through each hurdle that hits me. Because there's going to be more hurdles. I know. This is not the end of the road for this shit. Some people are like, wow, that's like the worst thing that could happen to you. Identity theft and people getting access to information and then using it for malicious purposes and doing fucked up stuff. There'll probably be more, you know. And to me, it's just kind of like, you roll with the punches at this point. You fix the issues, you roll with the punches, you move on. Does it set me back? Yes. I'm now been set back significantly financially yet again, as if the Twitch thing earlier this year wasn't bad enough. Now I'm set back again because of it. But what can I do? I can sit here and I can rage like an idiot, and I can scream at the clouds, and I can scream at you on the internet, and it doesn't fix anything. So instead of that, okay, it happened, fuck it, move forward positively, keep going. And I actually talked with a few people who were like, I can't believe that's your reaction. If that were me, I would have lost my shit. I would have, you know, said fuck this and threw in the towel. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. No, fuck it, fuck that. Because, you know what? It's like I said, my whole life, I've used this adversity against me as a way to motivate myself to continue. All right? For every person that does something fucked up to me, I realize I can remotivate myself to just do more fun, positive stuff with my life. So, if I were to say right now, that's it. Wow, identity theft, that's pretty serious. I quit. Then they won. Right? Then they won. They got away with it. They were the person responsible. Why the fuck would I give up? Right? I'm not an idiot. I'm not a fucking moron. I'm absolutely not going to be doing that. I'm going to continue moving forward positively. All right? As much as I possibly can. I'm never going to give up. I am. You know, as hard as it can get, because I guarantee you there's going to be highs and lows. And, you know, right now the situation is, thank God I'm pushing forward positively on my streams and everything's good on my streams and my streams are great and my support is still there and everything's good. You know, sucks behind the scenes of all the shit that I'm trying to clean up and fix and how expensive it is to do so. But that's life. Keep going. Thank God I have that mental toughness from all the years of shit that happened to me that I now am kind of desensitized to the fact that this stuff will happen. And my wife to some extent too. Seriously. Like, if this had happened 3 years ago, and it was like the first thing she had experienced, messed up happening to me, or us, I should say, because we're married, so now everything is us, not me. Likely she would have had a very, very bad reaction. But this is like the millionth thing that's happened since we've been together. So she knows. She knows. You know what I mean? She knows. She knows what's going on, and she knows, you know, how bad it can get and how bullshit it is, and what can we do? You move forward positively. So, yeah, I agree with you. There's the fight or flight response. There's the anger. I always had the anger response, the fight response. But instead, now I just kind of sit back. Okay, here's what happened. So what do? I got to do this to fix it. Got to do this to fix it. Got to do this to fix it. Still got to go on stream like normal. Who cares, right? I bet when it happened, there were people who were like, Phil's gonna come on stream and he's not gonna be able to do his thing, man. He's gonna come on stream. He's gonna crumble. He's gonna fall apart. He's gonna be all nervous. Fuck you. What the fuck are you talking about? Dude, my streams are where I go to have a good time. My streams are literally where I go to forget about that stress shit. I come and have a good time with my viewing audience with games. Like, that's the complete polar opposite. You know what I'm saying? It's the complete polar opposite of my mentality is when I come to a stream, I'm here to unwind and have a good time. So, of course, I didn't let it deflate me and interfere with my streams. That's ridiculous. Anyway, thank you, Gustavo, for the question. By the way, I don't know what I see silliness going on in the stream chat. People are misbehaving. People are getting timed out and banned. I'm not dealing with it. I'm doing Ask the King. My best recommendation to you right now is, instead of this stupid fucking drama in the chat, just relax and just have a good time. Stop talking. Oh, someone got banned. Someone got timed out. Who fucking cares? Shut up about it and enjoy the stream. Instead of derailing and talking about that like a 5-year-old, just watch the stream and enjoy me and interact with me. That's the fucking point of the stream, not to argue that moderators are doing shit. Like, what are you talking about? Fucking grow up and pay attention. Or else what are you here for, right? People just, again, you notice there's no drama here, so we gotta create drama in the stream chat now. Fucking immature shit. Mortal Dubstep, no, I do not smoke weed. He says it would help you unwind. I do not smoke weed. I don't need weed. I'm chill. I'm chill, man. That's a huge change from when, you know, me back in the day. I don't get super angry about this stuff anymore. I'm chill. I don't let it get to me. Okay. Continuing on. I cured it with my brain asks the following. In the past, you spoke of your state's COVID measures and its effect on local businesses. You said many were closed temporarily, but not all came back when the state allowed them to reopen. How are your local businesses doing now? Well, it is sad that because of COVID, a lot of things had to close extended period. And I have definitely noticed some businesses are gone. There's a really good Mediterranean restaurant that my wife and I were going to. You would get an incredible amount of fresh food, including either chicken or beef or lamb, the shawarma or whatever they call it. Plus, you would get a giant side of hummus with their Greek-style rice, a fresh salad, pita bread, and it was like ridiculously cheap. It was like $15 for all of that. Like insane amount of food, $15. You go in and get it, and it was like gourmet food, and they're gone. They just went out of business. They couldn't survive in a delivery-only atmosphere because people went in for the fresh. You couldn't get it tasting as good delivered, so they went out of business. It sucks. By the way, thank you, Nate the Great, for a $5 super chat. Actually, that was a super sticker. It's a pear saying, how's it going? A cartoonish pear. What the heck? Thank you, Nate. Thank you for that. Okay. So yeah, that sucks. Now, there's other places that I've noticed. And by the way, most of the places that closed were either the kind of shop where you have to physically be there. Like, for example, a collectible shop. Or a resale shop, like not a pawn shop, but what's the name of the word? Like a thrift store. How's that going to survive in the pandemic, right? How? It's a brick and mortar store you have to go to see products. Closed during the pandemic. By the time it's going to reopen, they're out of business for 6 to 8 months. They're done. No income for 6 to 8 months. You're out of business, right? I've noticed some other places, okay, during the pandemic, they basically adapted to a delivery model, and now they never reopened for like restaurant style services anymore. So for example, there was a Chinese restaurant that my wife and I, was our favorite Chinese restaurant in this area. Whenever we could go there to sit down and eat for dinner, we would. They've been closed since the beginning of the pandemic. You could only order food. The problem is they're too far away from us to order food. They won't deliver to us. So we can't order and we can't sit in because they don't have in-seat dining anymore. We can't eat there anymore. We haven't eaten there in a year and a half. You can't. That's the kind of stuff that I'm seeing change in. There's a spider behind me. Oh, Jesus Christ. Thanks. That's the kind of thing that changed in the COVID world. You know what I mean? Now, thankfully, that's not the case for everything. But I hate to say, the thing that's disappointing is, guess what are the places that weren't affected at all? Oh, the big chains. Do you think a single McDonald's went out of business during the pandemic? Right? Of course not. Do you think a fucking Walmart went out of business? That's what I mean. Like these ginormous corporations that are backed by such insane amount of money, any chain in America is fine. They suffered nothing at all. They were perfectly fine. They already were rolling in so much fucking money that it didn't matter that they couldn't even sit there and eat. Some of these places never reopened for in seating. Like I said, McDonald's, Burger King, the fast food places, you can't even sit inside to eat anymore. But who cares? Most people just went there for fucking drive-through anyway, so it's not even like that's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? By the way, shout out to DTF Steak Fries for the membership. DTF Steak Fries has become a channel member. Thank you so much. I lost track of members. I'm going to check between the streams today and see if those went up or down. I'm not even going to edit it now because at this point, I know I already screwed up and didn't up it earlier. So for me, like, I look at the situation, I'm like, what sucks is it really looks like the little guy is who got destroyed by COVID. Very negatively affected. Any small business that didn't have millions of dollars of savings, right? Saved up to save your butt because you're not making income for 6 to 8 months when everything was closed. They're the ones that got slammed and destroyed. That sucks. If anything, what it is shown is that our government is not equipped for this shit. Our government was not ready. Our government was not ready to support these businesses. By the time they started finally handing out business loans to help these places, half of them were already going out of business. It didn't even matter. And now that the pandemic is over, which it's not, but you know what I'm saying, now that the businesses are open again, they can't hire anyone. Who wants to work at a restaurant that could go out of business again? People don't want those jobs anymore. They're like, no, I need a job that at least has a semblance of job security or is paying a decent amount of money. I can't work at your shitty fast food restaurant that could close again, and now we fucking get no income for another 6 months. I can't find a job. So even though they're reopened, he can't even staff them anymore. So all that going on, it hasn't been great. I can tell it's definitely not worst case. Worst case scenario would have been like everything started going out of business around and now all of America's falling apart. That definitely didn't happen. Okay? But certainly it was disappointing when you start seeing the small places literally close. One of the things that was weird, even the bigger chains like Starbucks, in my local area, 3 Starbucks businesses closed. 3. Now, I think the reason for it is because there was too many fucking Starbucks. Like, I'm not even kidding you. In some places here in Washington State, there's a Starbucks in a parking lot. Across the parking lot, there's a supermarket, and in the supermarket, there's a Starbucks. And then you drive down the street 1 block, and there's a Starbucks. And then, in a parking lot, another block down, there's a drive-through only Starbucks. So within like a 1-mile radius, there's 4 Starbucks. Gee, I wonder why that couldn't support that model in the pandemic, right? Gee, I wonder. So, yeah, a few of them went out of business. But in that case, do I actually think that that's a detriment? No. I don't think there need to be that many fucking Starbucks to begin with. But, you know, it is what it is. And I hope that at least some people can start to rebuild from this shit, too. Like that restaurant that closed, that Mediterranean restaurant was fucking good. And now there's no Mediterranean, like, in my area. I have to drive out of my way if I want to get a Mediterranean. So I hope that, like, things will start to rebuild and come back, because it's very unfortunate that this is the situation, in my opinion. Okay? Gothi Senpai has asked a question. He says, hey, Phil, it's Gothi Senpai. I originally found your channel through Review Tech USA. Then I became a huge fan of your live streams. I can understand your frustration with Rich, but you and Rich are my 2 favorite YouTubers. I wish one day you can both have a live stream together. Do you think going on his podcast would help you gain supporters for your channel? Maybe it'll give a chance to let people know how awesome you are. Thank you so much for reading this, and keep being the great person you are. Here's the problem with that. The truth is, I have no animosity towards Rich whatsoever. I don't give a fuck about the guy. He can do whatever he wants. The problem is he can't keep my name out of his mouth. Rich is the kind of content creator that he has to seek out what he feels is dramatic on the internet to over-sensationalize it in his content so that he can get views. He doesn't do gameplay streams like me. He doesn't retain a viewership like me that people are coming to chill and relax and have a good time with games. People go to him to hear gossip, okay? That is completely different than what I do, and I would not want to be that kind of content creator, all right? So in regards to Rich, okay, in regards to that, you know, he invited me on his podcast, and months ago, here I am on a live stream. Again, I don't talk about the guy. I don't know nothing about him. Don't care about him. Comes on my live stream of Fallout New Vegas and says, I want you on my podcast. Okay? If you really are serious about it, contact me behind the scenes. Send me an email, whatever. We'll talk a little bit about it, and we'll figure it out. But I'll tell you up front, I don't want to talk about drama. I want to talk about gossip. I want to talk about games. What do I do on the internet? I play games all day. I've been doing this for 13 years. I consider myself kind of an expert on doing this kind of thing on YouTube or Twitch. Whether you want to talk about that, you want to talk about the state of games now, a specific issue regarding games. I don't want to talk about, oh, what's this slanderous rumor people have about you today, Phil? Can you address it? No, because I don't address slanderous rumors because it's a waste of my fucking time. I just play games and have fun. That's what I'm all about. But Rich doesn't want that. Rich wants me on his show to have drama. He wants to bring in the drama viewers to his content and get benefit off of that, make bank off of that. That's why Rich has interest in me. Not because Rich cares about me, not because he likes my content, because he wants to benefit from drama, okay? I don't benefit from drama. I get hurt by drama. Rich 100,000% benefits from drama. That's the kind of person and content creator he is. That's why he wants to do that. So Rich did actually eventually, a month or 2 later, came on my stream again and said, will you be on my show? I said, you never contacted me. So he did. He emailed me and he said, okay, let's have you on the show later this week. It'll be an open forum where anyone can ask you whatever they want and you'll just answer live questions on the show. That'll be the show. What? Rich, why can't I do that here? What are you talking about? Like, why do I need to be on your show to do that? I could do that on my own shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? Huh? So what he wants to do, he wants to put me in front of a firing squad. He wants me to stand here while people take pot shots at me with every piece of drama possible. Insult, insult, drama, drama, slander, slander, defamation, defamation, every possible thing. And I gotta go, like, dodge the bullets like this, right? This is what he wants on his show. This is the content he wants. So I responded to him. You know what I said? No! I said, I'm not coming on your fucking show to cause drama. If you want to have a show that, number one, has to do with something intelligent, a topic of gaming, something productive. You know what I'm saying? I will absolutely positively come on your show to have an intelligent discussion about something, if that's what you want, okay? But I need some protections. I need to make sure that my IP address isn't going to get out there. I don't know what kind of, chat client he would use. I don't know. Who knows? Whenever I went on shows back in the day, it was like Skype and shit, but that was a million years ago. So who knows what people use now? So I said, it would have to be secure. It would have to be a situation where people don't know my account so that they can't get my IP address and fuck with my streams and hurt my livelihood and stuff like that. We'd have to have things off limits. I don't want people going on there and trying to insult my wife or my other family members and shit and bring up personal shit. It has to be, a situation that's controlled. Or else what's the point? You're literally putting me and my family in harm's way, okay? So I responded to him saying this. He never responded. He ignored me. He basically acted like I never responded. So he doesn't care. He wants it his way. Rich wants drama central on his stream, and he wants to make big bank off of it. He sees me as a dollar sign. That's Rich. He sees dollar signs over Dark Side Phil. That's all he cares about. Spinning me into a way to make money for him. So unless he changes his fucking attitude about this, there's no way I'm going to ever go on his content or his show. There's no point. Why the fuck do I want to go on his stream to talk about shit that I could very well do on my own stream and I don't want to do because that's not the kind of content creator I am. I just want to play games and have fun. So, no, I'm never going to be on a stream with Rich because he's a drama queen. He's someone who literally creates problems by talking about the dirty laundry of others, and he benefits from it. It's immoral. It's fucked up what he does. I personally don't know how he lives with himself, but then again, I don't know how he lives with himself when he goes on his stream, takes his shirt off, sucks a cucumber, kisses chickens, and whatever the fuck else perverted shit he's doing on his stream to make a buck. I don't know how he could live with himself with that either. My accident was an accident. This guy every fucking day is going on his streams perverting himself for a live audience to make $1. There's a big difference between the two. You be the judge, all right, of who makes better content between those two styles, okay? That's up to you. There's a reason why I have a dedicated fan base who come and enjoy games with me on a daily basis and chill. There's a reason why the only people who give him any kind of support are people who are asking him to get nude. So there you go. Snowstar tipped me $1.50 and says, can you please do the Halloween marathon with the lights off and in the dark? Usually hand out candy at Halloween if people knock at your door. Do you think your streams will ever be more friendly and free from trolling? Thank you, and I hope you will. First answer is, I could, and I've done that before. I even tried to do that like somewhat last year, and people complained they couldn't see. They were complaining they couldn't see me on, it was too dark. I don't have a studio lighting here. I have one lamp right there, a window that I can leave open or closed, and like a flashlight I could put on the floor. It doesn't look good. I don't have the fucking crazy halo lighting and the shit that I can do to make this look professional grade. Okay? So I tried the lights off. People didn't seem to like it. But if people wanted me to try again, I'd consider it. I don't know if it would work. Do I hand out candy at Halloween? No. I live in a private community. There's not a public walking street. No one can go in if they don't have permission. If they come in without permission, they get arrested and kicked out. I'm serious. Like, the police show up, and they either escort you off the property, or if you're seen doing here for malicious purposes, you go right to jail. Because it's private property. Okay? Do you think your streams will ever be more friendly and free from trolling? I would like to say yes, but who knows? The problem is, again, there's so many elements to this that I don't control, right? There's a whole community of people out there on a site that's apparently protected, I don't know fucking why, that is the most malicious, disgusting actions ever, and they just stir shit up constantly. I don't perpetrate it. I don't have anything to do with it. They just do their own thing. So I could be having the most positive, great streams here, and then one day they just try to ruin it anyway, right? Then you got people like Rich, who are the shit stirrers. He's literally a shit stirrer who's like, every once in a while, I got to bring up Darkside Phil's name to cause drama for him so I can make a buck. So as long as the shit stirrers still exist, as long as those who make a buck off of my misery still exist, and as long as those nut jobs over at a site like that still exist, I don't know how ever we could reduce the drama on the streams. I don't create the drama. I never create the drama. I don't want the drama, you see? Okay, continuing on. The next question is from Eno, who asked the following. Have you ever thought about playing co-op games like X-Men, Monopoly, Mario Party, Metal Slug, or Golden Axe? These and other games where you cannot team kill each other, but you can play with fans given options. Trolls can't ruin the game because there's no way to kill or interfere with you. Sadly, I hate to say this, you have not been around the block like me. You just haven't been, okay? Any of those games you just mentioned, people control, all right? I'll give you an example. X-Men. It's not Children of the Atom. X-Men is the side-scrolling beat-em-up, right? The arcade game. Literally, a troll could get in the match and just keep walking the wrong direction. The camera will never scroll. You can never advance. Stream's ruined. Monopoly. Troll can refuse to do anything that's productive to the game. Even if there's a timer They could just sit there every time trying to expire the timer. They could literally hoard properties and not refuse to trade and play intelligently. They control the game and ruin it. Mario Party, same thing. Metal Slug, same thing. Like, see what I mean? Like, all the games you're mentioning, you're thinking, oh, well, they can't grief you, okay? Griefing is different than trolling, okay? A troll, any multiplayer game you play, a troll can get access to that game, take it over, and ruin it for the viewing experience. I know for a fact, there were games back in the day that I would do co-op sessions with people in first-person shooters. You think, oh, well, they can't shoot you, right? True. But they sure as hell can get your team killed by doing the dumbest things. They can stand right in front of you and dance in front of you, and now you can't shoot. So, no. I hate to say it, the things that you're saying is not the case. There's no such thing as a troll-proof game like that. I wish there were, but there's just not. Goji Tanks sucks content. Tipped $4.20. Says, damn, I just got home from work. Probably missed a good chunk of Ask the King. Tuning in now. Have a good stream. Thank you so much for the tip. Welcome to the stream. I'm still going. We still got lots of questions to answer. Don't worry. We still got a good amount of time here on the show to go, and it's not even nearly over yet. Wow, I just received a $20 tip from an anonymous tipper. Thank you to the anonymous tipper. That gets us up to $140 in tips today and climbing, guys. Thank you so much. We've almost hit the tips goal for the stream, which is outstanding. Thank you so much. Remember, we get a vest when we hit the tips goal. Okay. Continuing on. From Phantasy Star PG. He has a ginormous thing to say, so let's listen to what Phantasy Star has to say. He says, first of all, I want to say it's nice to be back on your videos, Phil. It's nice to see that you're doing good since the days on Twitch. By the way, I do miss overnight cheering like we used to have on Twitch. I know. One of the major things that's different about YouTube and Twitch, there's not an existing chat room that just runs permanently. The chat room that exists is one that's created specifically per game. And if I remember to do it the night before, then technically there is an overnight chat room. But I have to set it up the night before. If I don't manually set up that chat for the next game I'm going to play, it doesn't exist till I set it up. So today I did actually overnight set up Ask the King. So if people wanted to come and say do a super chat or a super sticker overnight, they would have been able to do that. But it's not always the case. Sometimes I forget and then it doesn't exist. It's not a given like it was on Twitch. Okay? Okay, now continuing on. I feel that your views... Hold on. He says, my question is about Psychonauts 2. I feel that your views are spot on about Microsoft not making the game properly. Excuse me, not marketing the game properly. I read that completely wrong. While Psychonauts 2 was a great game because Microsoft invested a lot of money into it to develop it, it helped add the previously cut boss fights back into the game, and it even got Jack Black back into the game. However, some ways I feel that marketing could have been better, and if Microsoft had done a full remake of the original Psychonauts, perhaps, to re-release before the release of Psychonauts 2, and maybe even push its VR game, the, what was it called? The Rhombus of Ruin, which I didn't even know existed before I played Psychonauts 2. Yeah, they did not remarket Psychonauts 1 at all, and I didn't even know that the VR game existed. I had no idea there was other content to play before I played Psychonauts 2. Microsoft did that bad of a job of marketing the game. Okay? So he says, here's a case in point. Square Enix made sure people had opportunity to play Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. He's right. If you remember, right before, the year or two before Kingdom Hearts 3, we had the Kingdom Hearts 1 Complete Collection and the Kingdom Hearts 2 Complete Collection. You could buy those collections, play through all those games as a lead-in to Kingdom Hearts 3, in which case you would have understood the plot of Kingdom Hearts 3. Microsoft did none of that with Psychonauts 2. They literally just threw the game out there and expected people to play it. Okay. Now, as for if there will ever be a Psychonauts 3, the only way I see that game being successful is if Microsoft puts it on hold until the next-gen Xbox comes out and they make it a day-one launch title. Wow. Well, Phantasy Star, damn. You know, Phantasy Star, I have to say, you may be right, and that's really sad, because here's the thing, and I said this during my playthrough, I'll say it again, I actually feel that, I actually genuinely feel that Psychonauts 2 was an incredibly good game, and it was actually a game that I feel was one of the best games of the year, and I'm not exaggerating, and I'm not kissing butt here, because you know I don't do that. Like, I thought it was a major feeling of nostalgia for the old school platformer style game, and I actually felt that it was a throwback, but it was done with modern graphics, modern gameplay mechanics, and it was done well. The plot was outstanding. Seriously, like, I was having a ball playing Psychonauts 2. But no one was tuning into the streams. People were telling me this game looks boring and outdated. It was crazy because the experience I was getting playing it was literally the opposite of what people were saying as they watched the streams. And I just didn't understand it. It was like there was a disconnect between me playing and people watching. And I don't know why. Maybe, again, maybe so many people did not play Psychonauts 1. Maybe, right, the Rhombus of Ruin, maybe people had known that was out. And maybe if there was an opportunity to play Rhombus of Ruin not as a VR game. Because I wouldn't have played it. Even as a VR game, I wouldn't have played it. So I had to skip it because it was fucking VR. Who the fuck wants Psychonauts VR? Who asked for that? So, yeah. Now, here's the thing. I loved Psychonauts 2. And I think that there's definitely... Psychonauts 3 would be an outstanding game. But Psychonauts 2 apparently sold so poorly. So poorly. Even being under Microsoft Game Pass, which counts as a digital sale, Psychonauts 2 did not count as one of the top-selling games of August. Even with the fact that the game was free for Game Pass owners, it didn't make the top 10 digital sales for August. That's bad. That means, like, people literally said, what the fuck is that? Never heard of it, not playing it. They didn't even give it a chance, even though it was free. Fuck. That's terrible, because I really feel that's a hidden gem of 2021 that most people will not play, and they're really missing out on a great game. Especially for those of the people who then went and played Kena Bridge of Spirits, which in my opinion is a very similar style game. It plays like an older school game, PS2, PS3 era game, with modernized graphics and some modernized gameplay elements, but man, it looks gorgeous, but it plays like a classic. That's pretty much Psychonauts 2 in a nutshell, only Psychonauts 2 has really good writing as well. And by the way, Kena Bridge of Spirits was not on Game Pass. It's a PS game, PlayStation game. It's not on Xbox, you know. Anyway, I kind of feel like, yeah, I feel like since Psychonauts 2 was such a sales dud, this might be the end for the franchise. By the way, Double Fine said as much. Like they said, we don't have plans to continue the Psychonauts games right now. They're going to work on other stuff now. So that's good, I guess. Because I feel that was the comeback game for Double Fine. I actually feel like the past 1 or 2 games Double Fine put out were not good. This was the comeback game. So now they've proven themselves and they can go to making another great franchise. I hope. I guess we'll see. But yeah, this is very unfortunate because I really loved it. I loved that game. Okay. Tsunami Carl asked 3 completely different questions. So let me go through them all because they're all unrelated. His first question is, this is more of a suggestion for your streams. I'd like your thoughts. What do you think of the idea to have a top tipper of the month who would get to choose one of the menu items on a future Feasting with the King episode? First of all, the idea of a top tipper of the month works when your contributors don't get harassed. Mine do. Because my detractors hate me so much and they try so many things to take me down and then fail that then they think the next positive course of action that they could do is to harass the people who support me and keep me going. So I'll give you an example. This was a few years back. I didn't even know this, okay? But apparently when I was using Streamlabs. And when I started using Streamlabs very prominently, there was a leaderboard behind the scenes of Streamlabs that was tracking contributions. Now, what I would tell people is, if you don't want to be known that it's you that's tipping me, make up a different name. So when you tip me, you're hiding your identity and people won't know it's you. But apparently Streamlabs was, without my permission, they never asked me to do this. They were tracking top tips and accumulating these totals behind the scenes and had a leaderboard on some page on Streamlabs that I didn't even know existed where you could see the top contributors. So even though there were people who were contributing in other names, it was adding those cumulative totals and listing them publicly. This is the person who was really tipping Phil. So when they found that, people went and harassed those people. People got doxxed and fucked on the internet because of that. Now, when I found out that was happening, I turned off that leaderboard, but I didn't even know that leaderboard existed. Right? Now, who would have thought that a leaderboard that was probably supposed to be something positive, let's track the top contributor of a streamer, that's supposed to be a positive thing. Oh, let's give credit to these people. Instead, it becomes a waste to weaponize that information to attack people, right? It's pretty fucked up. So, first of all, I don't even want to go there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even want to have a place where people can go and find out who's the top contributor. If there's a nut job out there who wants to spend countless hours counting every tip and surmising, the thing is, according to my detractors, every tip is only iced coffee. Literally, every tip today is only iced. So we have an anonymous tipper, Goji Tank Sucks Content, Snowstar, Anonymous, Uncle Vatrid, Chicken Man. They're all only iced coffee. No Couture, that's only iced coffee. Any other behind-the-scenes contributions that happen, that's only iced coffee. So they believe this nutcase shit, and they all just think that that's all true. In reality, I'm not kidding you. None of those people were only iced coffee, but these people are so crazy, they think that only one person actually supports my streams. They're that crazy. They're completely insane. So that being said, okay, I don't even want a way to track the information. That's number one. Number two, your suggestion here is have them pick a menu item for Feasting with the King. Well, the thing is, I like the fact that with Feasting with the King, what we're doing is over the course of like a week or two before the show, people are voting on what cuisine I have, and then live, like the day of, we order together. Like, I like that, because that gives us opportunity to kind of do something fun and interactive, okay? I like that a lot, and I don't want to have a situation where, because someone contributed, all right, well, now all of a sudden, this contributor has control over all this stuff. That's how problems start, okay? It's one thing every once in a while, oh, I did a flight sim stream, and the top contributor picks where we fly next time for a segment of the stream. But now when you have entire shows controlled and dictated by one person, that's when you run into problems, right? It is. That's when you run into problems. And I don't want to start situations where now you got people who are angry about or upset that the show's ruined because the person picked something bad. I also don't want a situation where maybe someone contributes, they actually control the show, right? Oh, they pick the cuisine to eat, we eat it. Oh, then they charge back the tip, right? That's why I don't go there. On paper, it sounds like it's safe. It's really not, sadly, because of the malicious actions of these assholes. By the way, it looks like 2 tips came in I missed. I will read those off after I finish these questions. So the next question from Tsunami Carl is, for someone that does not currently have a next-gen console, do you think it's smarter to wait for a Pro version to be released in the coming years, or purchase the base model now at retail price? Or you can even get your hands on one. The answer to that question is simple. Are there games out right now you want to play on a next-gen console, and what's your reasoning behind it? Are there console exclusives you want now? Then get it now, if you can. Don't pay a scalper. If you can get it for retail price, and there's an exclusive you want to play right now, get the base console now. Okay? If your issue is, I just want improved graphics. That's all I really care about. I don't care about exclusives. I just want to be playing the best graphical version. Okay? Then I could see both sides of the fence, because some people may be like, well, you could work your ass off now, you know, to get the console, but really, especially with these games that are cross-platform, like we all thought the new God of War, the new Horizon was going to be PS5 exclusive. They're not. They're cross-platform now, and you know that they're going to make it so at least they run decently on a PS4 Pro. So maybe don't go crazy. Wait until there's a killer app. Wait until there really is a PS5 exclusive you want to get it. Now, as for the PS5 Pro and Xbox Series X Pro, inevitably, I think we've been desensitized to think it's just going to happen. It's going to happen, but we don't know. We're in a situation now that's a lot different. Because of COVID, the world has literally been set back years and years of production. Who's to say that in 3-4 years' time that we'll even be in a situation where the microchips are readily available again, and now they can make a Pro model of these consoles? I don't want someone sitting around for 5 years waiting for a Pro that never comes, because the world has changed, you know? The situation of every console getting a Pro version was the last 2 console gens. True, that wasn't COVID. That was pre-COVID. The world might have been irrevocably changed, okay? So if you absolutely want the exclusives, or if you absolutely want the best graphics and you're not willing to have a what-if scenario, if you ever these things will appear, I don't think you should count on the Pro existing. I think if you can get the console now, maybe you should try to get it. Just don't go crazy, and do not buy it from a scalper. That's the worst case scenario that will just make things worse for everyone. No one will ever get these goddamn consoles. Okay? Last question from Tsunami Carl, then we'll do some shout-outs. How long do you think you can realistically stream for a living? I think it would be pretty unique to see someone as a 60 or 70-year-old being a streamer or gamer. It's never been done before, to my knowledge at least. Could you keep going strong for another 25 years? And if not, what are some of your interests as to other means of income? Well, it's funny because I never even knew when I got into this what it would entail and how long I'd be able to do it or anything like that, right? Who knew? I never did this for a living to begin with. It wasn't my intention. When I became a full-time streamer in 2017, my horizons were kind of open, because I realized, of course, right now, the big thing is games. And I play games. I enjoy games. That's what I'm known for, right? But people all the time over the years have asked me, can you do other kinds of content? Can you do movie reviews? Could you do live commentary over TV shows or movies? Could you comment on world news? Could you comment on politics? Could you do this? Could you do that? I have strayed away from all of that. Why? Because right now, games works. There's no reason for me to stray from the formula of games when gaming is a big thing that's working for me. I'm known for gaming. Let's go with that. It's very, very possible as I get older, my hand-eye coordination is going to go. I might get carpal tunnel. I might not be able to do gaming like I do now, right? And I might lose interest in gaming. Maybe now I'm loving it. I love gaming. But maybe in another 10 years, I won't care as much about gaming. However, all that being said, I have an audience. I have a following. I have people who like me as a person and like to hear my opinions on everything, not just games. So at one point in my life, yes, maybe I will branch out. Maybe I will do something completely different. And maybe that means that I don't have to be a full-time gamer anymore, but I could do some games and I could variate and do other shows that are commentary shows, right? Right? It's very possible. I could change my formula up a little bit as I get older. Now, I'm not saying that this is my plan. I'm just saying this is a what-if scenario. You asked me, realistically, could I keep doing this for another 25 years? Maybe. I don't know. Things could change. The thing is, the climate is so weird on the internet that things could change overnight. Overnight, oh, well, because of copyright, no one can do streams anymore, period. Done. Done. Oh, shut down, right? You cannot plan for this shit. You just can't. You can't make a roadmap of what I want to do with this business in the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. It's just not possible. Okay? I don't know what next level of trolling is going to do to fuck my life up. I'm sad to say that, but I just don't know. I have no clue what's going to happen. So because of that, I can't really plan formally ahead like a lot of people can. I love doing what I do. I would love to keep doing this, but reduce the amount that I do it. I would love to have at least another extra day off to spend with my family. Right now, the 1 day a week, I cherish that time I have with Kat, but it's not enough. We end up running around half the time running errands and shit and not having time to spend time together at home and doing stuff like that. Like, there's things we'd love to do around the house, stuff, clean out the garage, use it for other things. I can't. I don't have time. I just don't have fucking time for it. I would love to be able to do that, but that's something that's long-term better. You know, something, if I could stop having things financially screw me over, like identity fucking theft and Twitch kicking me out of the partner program for no goddamn fucking reason, and maybe I get to a better position, then maybe, yeah, we'll be in a better situation. Right now, I'm just nowhere near close to that. Okay? All right. Shout-outs. Chocoboko tipped me $5, said, not a serious question, but have you ever heard of the Fist of the North Star meme where a boy watches the show but becomes a hitman? If a woman watches it... No, wait. He'll become a man. If a woman watches it, she becomes pregnant. If a cat watches it, it will become a tiger. It's because it's a mane. Thanks for the tip, Chocoboko. I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Okay. Continuing on. Cooper Koopa is here. Tip $4.20. Says, hey, Phil, I'm loving the stream. Good to see that you're going strong, sir. Thank you, Cooper. I appreciate that very much. And I appreciate you coming back and supporting the stream. I just kicked the camera and screwed all this up. Kevin Bernstein did a super chat asking, why isn't Kat on the streams more? I think you understand the reason, because she got harassed hardcore for a few times she was on 3 years ago. I typed Kat instead of Kevin. And she has no desire to be harassed further. If ever she changes her mind, she's always welcome on the streams and can come on the streams if she wants. But until that day, I'm not going to pressure her ever. Okay? Let's just keep going. So I have Twitter questions. So here's what we'll do. How about this? Since there's 45 minutes left till I'm done, let's not take a break. Let's just say fuck it and keep going. Let's just keep... I'm having a good time. You guys are having a good time. Why not just keep continuing? I don't need to take a break. I don't have to piss or anything. Fuck the second break. Let's just keep going. So first thing, before we get to Twitter questions, which is next, let's do shout-outs to patrons. Thank you to the people who month in, month out support me on Patreon. I know that I don't really mention it much. I know it's not a focus of my content, but there are people who like supporting me behind the scenes and don't care about interaction on streams. But once a month, I give them a shout-out, or I say once every 2 months when we do Ask the King, I give them a special shout-out. So here we go. Thank you to the following people. Big Tone 995, Crisis Mod, Jared Jackson, Maya the Bees, Planet Jeff, Trey Coley, Two Bar King, David Denmark, Michael Denault, Faithin, QPZMWM, Richard, Riley Hagan, Sean Given, Stormforce Gamer, Thomas McDonald, and Tony Frank. Remarkably enough, I actually was looking up some of these people, and they have supported me since the day I opened my Patreon in like 2015. They've been an ongoing supporter. That's amazing. Thank you guys for always that constant support. And that's what I mean. Like, I know for a fact, no matter what happens to me, no matter what shit is thrown against me, no matter how I'm mistreated by a business like YouTube or Twitch or anywhere else, no matter how many fucking people attack me, slander me, defame me, I have people who support me and will follow me wherever and support me wherever. And I appreciate that. Let me tell you, it's a great feeling. Okay? So, we're about to start Twitter questions, but ladies and gentlemen, Chicken Man just tipped me $1.50 and says, people have no idea how bad Starbucks is in your area, more so Seattle City. When I visited, I swear I see 3 in a block. Yeah, it's insane. This is the birthplace of Seattle. Or, excuse me. Of course, it's the birthplace of Seattle. It's the birthplace of Starbucks. Seattle is the birthplace of Starbucks. The original Seattle is still... I keep saying Seattle. The original Starbucks is still in Seattle. You could go there right now, the first location. So... that's why there's so much Starbucks here, and there's no Dunkin' Donuts. The only competition is actually like little local coffee places, but no competitors are out here. Nothing like that. It's just Starbucks everywhere. Guess what? Let's go ahead and do a poll, because we now have a vest, ladies and gentlemen. Which vest is Ask the King best? We've got the beige. We've got the denim, we've got the camo, and we've got the gold. Thank you guys so much for your support. Please vote on a vest. Pretty awesome. Alex tipped me $1.50. Said, do you think they just forgot to turn off auto bill? Maybe, who knows? But actively every month, all my active patrons, I send direct messages on Patreon, and if they have it set up properly, they should be getting emails when I send them those messages. So they should be getting pinged at the very least once a month to say, hey, thanks for being an ongoing patron, you know. Okay. Yes, Seattle is the birthplace of Seattle. You're right. All right, we're on to Twitter. Oh, wait. We have one more question from the forums. From Anshang Forever. Anshang Forever asked the following. First of all, which content creator helped you most and gave you advice? No one ever gave me advice because I was the innovator. I was the one who started this kind of movement along with other people at the same time, but I was at the beginning. There was no one to ask for advice when I was doing this. I just did it all myself. But who helped, or I would say helped me most? People like the Angry Video Game Nerd and Nostalgia Critic inspired me to think that I could do this with zero production value. No money, no expertise, just throw out content that's entertaining. And it worked. If I didn't see those guys do it before me, I never would have thought that it would have worked, and I probably wouldn't have tried to do it. Second question, which DSP tries it food is my favorite? That's a really tough question, because over the years, I could tell you distinctively the things that were the worst on DSP Tries It that stood out. It's actually harder to remember the good things. Like, I would argue probably there was 1 or 2 kinds of pizza that was really good, but I don't remember what they were. I remember once there was a McDonald's burger, I think it was called the Clubhouse Burger, that had a special sauce, bacon, a bunch of good condiments, and the burger was actually seasoned meat. I went and got that burger over the course of that year that it was existed. I went and got it like 2-3 more times because I liked it so much. Then they did away with it. You see? But this is the thing, like, it's easier. It's much easier to remember the bad things than the good. So it's hard for me to say what were the best things. People would essentially have to look back over the decade that I've been doing DSP Tries It and look for the ones that I rated really highly and pull them themselves, because I can't remember those. Okay? Sensei Pride said maybe you'll have to try those again. Maybe, but again, that's the funny thing. I almost guarantee you the things that I like so much don't exist anymore. Because a lot of the things I did on DSP Tries It was like, oh, a new menu, limited time item at Wendy's or something. And they probably isn't there anymore, so I couldn't even retry it if I wanted to. And then the final question from Anshang Forever, which YouTube video and stream that you made is your most memorable? I would argue the ones that stand out in my mind from over the years, I would say any of the stupid-ass PS Move shit, like Start the Party, and shit like that from back in the day was funny as shit, and I remember that. I remember doing the Olympics games with John and Joe and Howard and those guys. I definitely remember doing some of the original co-op playthroughs from back in the day. But I remember specifically playing games like the original Batman Arkham Asylum, where I took time off of work to play it before I was a full-time YouTuber, and loving the game. I remember the old school days of doing madness sets in Street Fighter 4 and how much fun that was to play Street Fighter 4 on a casual level. I remember Heavy Rain being the very first murder mystery style game where it was a whodunit and I didn't know who the actual murderer was and trying to guess during the course of the game. That was really neat. And then later on, years later, a game like Until Dawn. And then just last year, I would argue Little Hope. That was amazing to be able to do that live with you guys and then act like Colonel Sanders for half of it was funny as shit. Chill playthroughs like Lost Judgment or not Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest 11. Like, those were really outstanding. Yakuza 7. Those chill, elongated playthroughs where it was more about having a good time and also making progression rather than just making progression. Those are the best streams to me these days because those are the times when we have great social interaction and have a good time together. And those mean a lot to me. They really do. That's just off the top of my head. There's probably a million things that were really fun and meaningful, but those are the ones that just come to mind. Okay? The gold vest has won. Ladies and gentlemen, we have not seen the gold vest on stream in a very long time. So I'm actually very excited to put on the gold vest. Let me go get it. Where is it? Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Oh, come on. Where is the gold vest? What the hell? Where is it? Look, there's the blue, the red, the denim. The platinum. Under here, there's the camo, the beige. Ah, shit. What happened to it? Guys, I think someone broke into my house and stole the gold vest. I can't find it anywhere. I don't know what happened. Jaden did a super chat, says, am I a Seahawks fan? No, I am not. I am not a sports fan of any kind. These days. I used to be a long time ago. That was a very long time ago, and I'm not anymore. But thank you, Jaden, for the super chat. Okay. So I'm sorry, guys. I would wear the gold vest if I could find it, but it seems to have eluded me. I don't know where it is, so. All right, let's continue on. Twitter questions, my friends. And this is the finale of the show, so let's go through everyone's Twitter questions. Alex Supers says, legit question, will you get another cat? Well, let me put this into perspective, okay? Right now, I'm working 6 days a week, full-time pretty much. I do get times between the streams to cook or whatever, and I get to see my wife at night. But I'm pretty busy those 6 days, admittedly. I see Jasper, obviously he sleeps with us in the bedroom, so I see him a little bit in the morning when I'm doing my thing, having breakfast. When I'm streaming, sometimes he can come in here, sometimes he can't, but sometimes he can come in here. I see him a lot of the times between the streams, which is nice. My wife works right now. Oh my God, excuse me. It's absolutely disgusting. Right now, she's working almost full-time. She wants to work more, but they're not giving her the hours she wants. But she basically works like full-time at least 4 days a week. So 4 days a week, she's very busy and really doesn't have time to spend with Jasper until like nighttime. Okay? So right now, arguably, are we even spending enough time with a cat who's not the kind of cat that likes to be left alone? Jasper very much does not want to be left alone. He's what they call the party kitty or the mojito kitty. He wants to always be the life of the party. He wants to be socially in the middle of everything because he wants attention, okay? And without getting that attention, he feels like he's lonely or he's being mistreated. So whenever we're around him, we have to give him constant attention. Oh, it's time to make dinner. Jumps on the counter right in the middle of what we're doing. Like, Jasper, ingredients here. What are you doing, man? But that's the kind of cat that he is. Okay? That being said, getting another cat could definitely have two different kinds of effects. Okay? It could be if we got another cat, that Jasper would actually feel like he has a friendly companion who now he can spend time with, and he can now feel more occupied during the day when, say, I'm busy or Cat's busy and we can't spend time with him. But typically when it comes to a cat like Jasper, what really happens is Jasper now gets jealous that the other cat is getting attention when he's not. You see what I'm saying? He is the attention-seeking cat. His archetype in his head, his personality type is, I want all the attention at all times. If he were to now have a competitor for our affection and attention, it would actually make him upset. All right? So, purposely, we're thinking he's not the kind of cat that would even want a cat companion around the house at all. Okay, maybe we're wrong. And the thing is, you know, we're not that we ever want to even think about this at this point, because Jasper is a young and healthy cat. But eventually one day Jasper will pass away. Would we get another cat after that? Maybe. I really like having a cat around the house. I'll be honest with you guys. At first I was skeptical because I'd never had a cat before. And now I think that Jasper is a very fun and positive part of our lives. Even though there's caveats or with everything. Where yes, there's some negatives because he's here too. But the positives far outweigh the negatives. And I love having him. So maybe I would get another cat in the future. But I don't know if I would reasonably get a cat now with the kind of cat that Jasper is. I don't know if that would make any sense. Okay. Now, in addition to that, knowing that I don't have the amount of time that I would like to spend with my family, I think taking on another major pet like that would be pretty bad and irresponsible, don't you think? Why take on another pet that you know is a pet that's social and might need a lot of attention if you don't even know if you're spending enough time with your pet as is? I don't think that makes much sense. I think one cat's more than enough for us, for now. Okay? Let's see here. Skeleton question to me $1.50. He says, what's behind your fear of skeletons in video games? Are you scared of them in real life or games? I ask this because there's a skeleton decoration behind you. What do you mean there's a skeleton? That's bone meal. Don't remind me though. He says, thanks and have a good afternoon and evening. It's a running meme. It's a joke. It's not meant to be serious. The meme actually originated many years ago. The year when I played Dragon Age Origins. Okay? I don't remember what year that was. But when I played Dragon Age Origins, one of the major enemies in that game is skeletons. And I'm not kidding, like 90% of the enemies in dungeons is a fucking skeleton. And I'm not talking one skeleton, two skeletons. There's rooms where like you can't move. They're packed in there like a fucking can of sardines amount of skeletons. You know? So the running meme was, Phil hates skeletons because they always get them. Then when I was playing Mortal Kombat, there was this guy who would play Quan Chi, and he would always use these skeletons against me, and there was a meme, look at my skeletons, bitch, that evolved from that meme. Alright, so not only was I getting dominated by skeletons in RPGs, then I would play a fighting game and there was fucking skeletons. By the way, then I was playing Dark Souls and there were skeletons. So everywhere I looked, there were fucking skeletons. Everywhere. So, so that being said, it became a running meme. And it actually became a joke. I made Teespring merch of it and stuff like that. That's where it comes from. Am I actually afraid of skeletons? No. Actually, Bone Meal is my buddy. High five. He's my bud. He chills with me when I play games for many years here. It's all good. Dick Dickerson tipped me $2 and says, I don't think emulation is illegal when the game isn't sold by the developers. I'm not going to pay for the game when it costs 20 times the original price. I emulate everything, bro. Fuck resellers. Dick Dickerson out. Listen. I think there's a situation where is it morally okay or is it legally okay? Legally, if the game's available for sale, I don't think that you can even do the emulation thing. I don't know. I don't really know the legal ramifications of emulation. I don't know. I don't know when it's allowed, when it's not allowed, if it's even allowed. What I can tell you is I do feel if you cannot get a game, if they're not readily selling it, then I think that it should be able to be emulated. But that's my belief, and, you know, I could be wrong. Legally, it might not be correct. Sam on Twitter asks, Phil, what skills would you say you've learned over the years as a YouTuber? Three major skills. One we already talked about. Mental endurance, mental patience, mental fortitude, whatever you want to call it. The ability to not freak out whenever something goes wrong. The ability to not get insanely angry or say stupid shit, because I used to do that all the time. Now I've calmed down to the point where I can handle things way more rationally. That's number one. Mental strength, whatever you want to call it. Number two, I now very much so, and better than I used to, have the ability to put myself into the shoes of another person. Okay? Rather than saying my way or the highway, and rather than saying this is my belief and I absolutely refuse to think about how you say things, now I say the world's not black and white. It's many shades of gray. You got to look from another person's perspective, and instead of saying this is right, this is wrong, black and white, what's the compromise? What's the situation where everyone can benefit and not actively be screwed over or hurting each other, right? That's the way I see the world now, because I've matured a lot in the last 13 years that I've been a content creator. You guys have hit me with so many situations and things that I never thought of, that now, like, I'm like, damn, things are so different now. Considering, you know, the way my life is, the way that things have gone, and the way that you guys have affected me positively over the years. You know, it made me really open my eyes and think about things in different ways. There was a time when I said, anyone who plays Minecraft is an immature idiot. That game has no value. Then I opened my eyes. I played Minecraft. I was like, this game is fucking really good. I'm an idiot for saying anything like that ever. Now I realize that everything that I say and do on a stream or in a video, that's a responsibility I have to make sure that I'm saying the right thing and being mature and not being an immature asshole just for shock value and attention. You know, like a lot of other content creators we've already talked about on Ask the King this time. I have a responsibility because I have a following to be responsible. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not, then what will happen? People will take something that I'm saying silly as fact, and now people concretely get hurt by that. So I have to be careful, and I have to always be able to see from another perspective how other people think of things and make sure that I'm not being a dick, okay? And I guess the last thing that I would say that I have learned since I became a YouTuber, you cannot, absolutely cannot share everything with your audience. As much as I used to love being Mr. Transparent, as much as I used to love being the guy who would tell you all about everything in his life, I would share every experience. I would show you every meal I ate. I would show you every piece of new thing in my house. I would do tours, go on trips, vlog, everything. That has 1,000,000% come back to bite me. Because now, all of that information over the years was used to hurt me, to create slander or defamation. People now became obsessed with me to the point where now, because I don't share that, now it's like, well, we got to get as much information as we can because he hides everything, but screw him, we still got to get it, you see? Nut jobs have latched onto me in a point where now I can't even have like a normal life because of this shit. So I realized the less you share, the more you have of a real life. It's that simple. There has to be a split between the online persona and what you choose to share with your audience and what you actually have behind the scenes. In fact, it was very interesting on pre-stream today, as I was doing the work for this show, someone had said to me, how do you handle being such a pariah in the own community that you're a part of? If you don't know what a pariah means, it's basically it's considered like an outcast. And I'm like, the thing is, the reason I'm a pariah isn't because of me. I'm a pariah because so many people are after me in negative ways that people don't want to be associated with me. You don't want to be associated with the guy that has 3,000 people hating on him every day. That's toxic shit that could come into your content, and you don't want that. So you push him away and say, I don't want anything to do with that guy. I totally understand that, right? So it is what it is, but I can't control that. And the person who I was talking to about that was actually like, you know, it's funny because I guarantee you now, what we know about you online is completely different from the person who you may be with Kat behind the scenes. And I'm like, I'll be honest with you, to some extent, yeah. I can tell you there's things, we have our own things, our own life, our own stuff you guys know nothing about and never will. Because that's the way it has to be. Do we have to have that private line set between? Because when I used to share everything, it was just toxic shit constantly thrown at my face. And I can't have that anymore. You know what I'm saying? So that's the one thing I've learned absolutely, positively, 100%. You cannot share everything because people will weaponize it against you. Even if it's not intended to be that way originally when you share it, people can weaponize shit when they just lie. Chicken Man tipped $1.50. Said, my God, Facebook and Instagram is back up. The world can now continue. What a joke. There's people acting without Facebook. The world is no more on Twitter. Okay, thank you for the tip. Skeleton Question tipped me $1.50 and said, thank you. That was an interesting and detailed and fun answer. You're welcome. Alex tipped $1.50. Said, if you could sit and spin on one thing in the entire world, what would it be? I don't even know what you're talking about. Anyway, thanks for the tips, guys. Let's continue with the questions. Ghosty Witch asks the following. What are your thoughts about cross-gen PS4 games? Are you excited to see titles like Spider-Man 2 being on PS5 only? At this point in history, I'm happy they're cross-gen. I want more people to be able to experience amazing games. I don't want to feel like some fucking elitist because I lucked out last year and happened to get my hands on a PS5. And I think it's messed up that there are people who are like, oh, these games should have been PS5 exclusive, and now we got to play the watered-down version of the game. Shut the fuck up. Gaming is supposed to be something that everyone is open to experience, and you shouldn't have a fucking entry level. You know, you have to be this tall to play God of War. Because you don't have a PS5, you're down here, you can't play it. Fuck you. Seriously, that's such a shithead way. That's a gatekeeping way to have the mentality. I hate that. People should be able to enjoy games if they're good, and it sucks that we're in a situation no one predicted COVID would have happened. We didn't know it would affect gaming the way it did. It's time to stop with this elitist shit and just let people enjoy games for what they are. Spider-Man 2 being on PS5 only may be an amazing experience for those who have the PS5. But it's going to suck for those who don't. So, I see both sides of the fence here. Am I happy to get the overall best experience with that game when it comes out? Yes. But at the same time, I'm going to feel shitty that other people can't experience it. Derek has asked a question on Twitter, and he says, Phil, when you were a kid, did you have any goals that you set for yourself when you were in school that you completed and fulfilled? Yes. Concretely, I always had goals. I was a very goal-oriented kid. I was someone who always planned ahead. I want to get this level of achievement, this A's. I want to do this year in this club or this, whatever. That's how I kind of was. My parents basically told me school was the most important thing, and they always catered my life towards that. Like, if I did well in school, I would get rewarded for it. Oh, you got all A's on your report card? You could get a video. We'll buy you a video game as a reward. That's how it was in my life. It wasn't you just get shit because you're my kid. It was you earn it through working hard. That's how my life was when I was a kid. So I was always a goal-oriented person, disciplined to get to the goal. When you get the goal, you get the reward. That's how my life always was back then. So, but yeah, was it crazy, over-the-top, insane, unattainable goals? No. It was more like get A's on your report card, do well on this challenge, try to make the best project at the science fair. You know what I mean? Those are the goals. Virtual Fox asks, thoughts on future stream improvements? What's next? For me, the next way that I feel I can improve my streams at this point, got a better chair, got a better console setup, right? The next thing would obviously be new PC and new webcam so that the visuals here can look better. We could do a green screen because I have a better webcam, but I can't implement a better webcam until I get a better PC. So it all goes hand in hand. I would like to do that next year. In fact, I would say my goal for 2021 is to improve that. Get a new PC going, get a new camera going, get everything visually looking better, even the lighting and everything in here, everything better. That's my goal for next year. I don't know if I'll be able to achieve it because every single time again I get ahead, it all gets taken away from me. Get kicked out of the Twitch partner program, get fucked over with identity theft, but we'll see what happens in 2022. Chocoboco Timmy $5 said, real question, if there was a PSX game that could get a remake, which would it be? It could be any PS1 game that hasn't got one yet. Dude. You're asking me a crazy question. I would have to look at the history of PS1 games that didn't have future installments. Like, I would say, I really liked Twisted Metal back in the day, but they tried that on PS3 and it failed. So, I don't know. I'm sorry, Chocoboco, I can't answer questions like that on the fly off the top of my head. I have to do some research. Kay asked the following. What new game announcement would have you extremely excited to hear about? A new Street Fighter, perhaps? No, in fact, since I have no confidence in Capcom making a good Street Fighter ever again, I'd be incredibly skeptical when Street Fighter 6 finally gets announced, which eventually it will be. I guess for me, it would kind of be like the new Elder Scrolls actually having concrete information and a release date, or a new Fallout actually having a release date and information. You know what I mean? Like those kind of games. Or a new Infamous. That would be neat. I feel a new Infamous game would be really cool. Or a new Booger Man. The return of Booger Man would be the best. Okay. This is Briarius says, will you stop streaming at age 50 or there's another number where you decide to hang it up? Oh, we actually already addressed this. So I like streaming to the point where I feel like I could do this for a while. I don't know how long, but I would like to keep doing it. Whether I do it as a full-time gamer is another issue. Maybe in 5 years' time I get carpal tunnel and I can't do it as much anymore. Maybe in 5 to 10 years' time my hand-eye coordination's shot and I can't play all the games I used to play. Then I can mix it up and do a variety of stuff. But we already kind of answered this question. Sorry that I kind of picked the same question twice. I didn't realize that I did. Okay. UNFW asks, why not stream earlier to try to get a European audience? Well, I do. My earlier stream is intentionally early in the morning for me to try to get a European audience. I'll be honest with you. Do I think that anyone in the United States is tuning in adamantly at 10:45 a.m. to watch me play? Probably not. I would actually argue that people during the daytime, they're working, they're at school. Those people try to catch up at night. It's the European audience that watches my earlier stream. And then the late stream is actually the American audience because the people are at home relaxing, chilling after a day of work or school, and they can maybe relax at night and watch the stream. The European audience cannot watch the late stream because that's the middle of the night for them. So that's what I'm going with my schedule. If I go any earlier, you'll have 0 American viewers, man. You can't be Americans watching me at 6 in the morning. They're asleep. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to time the stream so at least if I do it in the midday. So my stream starts at 10:45 a.m. Gameplay starts around noonish. We go for 3-4 hours. You can get an afternoon crowd in the United States, but you can get a nighttime crowd in the UK, and it catches everyone. It catches all audiences. You see what I'm saying? At least that's the mentality I've always had, and that's what people seem to tell me. I always notice there's a ton of Europeans on the early stream, which is great. I love having you guys here. Bombshell Fanatic asks, would you ever consider doing a live stream where you chill with viewers while searching online for new vests or hat or glasses, etc., and let the viewers help you pick? Maybe if you hit a certain tips goal on a stream, you could dedicate all the money you buy to new items to wear. Incidentally, you say that. Do you see this? This little goal right here, members goal? The tier 1 members goal for the month of October, if we hit 325 members, I'm getting a new hat. How are we doing it? We're doing it together. Like, this is exactly what I'm planning. If we hit 325 members this month, I'm going to have a stream where we together kind of browse hats and try to find a new one. And then we order it live. That's actually what I was intending. So you actually hit the nail on the head. That's exactly the event that I was planning if we hit the 325 members, okay? So I hope we do. I hope we hit the 325 members, but right now we have kind of stalled. If you take a look at the number of members on the channel right now, we went up to like 290, we were almost at 300, and then the new month hit, and it went, and now it's going down and down. I'm like, well, I don't know what to do about that. There will be new releases shortly. Tomorrow it's Alan Wake Remastered. Thursday it's Far Cry 6. Next week we got Back 4 Blood. The week after that we got the Dark Pictures Anthology, and then we got Guardians of the Galaxy. We got lots of new games coming. Maybe that will bring people here to become a member, I hope, because it sucks to see it dwindle. It really does, okay? I hope that we can have some motivation for people to become a member. I'd love to add a new hat to the rotation. Darkness asks, if it wasn't for gaming, what hobbies or interests would you have been intrigued to do? Like learn an instrument? You know, when I was much younger, I was interested in learning the guitar. My dad owned a guitar, and I had like instructional books and stuff on how to do it, and I never really bothered with it. I was a gamer, man. Gaming was my hobby. I mean, I had other hobbies like comic books, collecting comic books and cards, but gaming became my interactive hobby that I sunk my time into. Whether it was playing games at home or then going to the arcades and playing competitive Street Fighter, that was it. And it took up all my time, you know? So, I honestly don't know what I would have done. If there was no video games or whatever, I actually don't know what I would have done. That's an intriguing question, but it's kind of a what-if scenario because I was a gamer and heavily into competitive Street Fighter. I don't know what I would have done in place of it. I actually don't have an answer. The final question. From Look Who It Is, that's actually their name. They said, why don't you try adding more classic fighting games to the lineup? Street Fighter 2 has become stale. You play the same people every week. Well, when you say classic fighting games, the question I have to ask is, what do you mean by that? Because if you take a look at the classic fighting games available, the suite of games that I play, which is the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, the Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha 3, and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. That is a good variety of games to be playing online every week. Four classic Street Fighter games, right? What other classic fighting games would you be interested in seeing me play that's readily available to play on a console that I could do with my setup, right? I'm not aware that Tekken 3 is available anywhere to play. Because he said classic. He didn't say modern. He said classic. Old school Mortal Kombat, there hasn't even been a good version of old school Mortal Kombat put out. The ones that they constantly put out are terribly laggy and no one plays them. Yeah. So I'm not even aware that there's like old school gameplay available anywhere to be played on a modern console. If Mortal Kombat 2, 3, or Ultimate were available to play on a console with no lag and actually worked well, I would actually play those. I played those back in the day in arcades. They're fun. They're very limited, but they're fun, but they're not available. It was never taken seriously in that regard to get those. You don't ever see Mortal Kombat Classics Collection, right? They tried it like 2 console gens ago and it lagged to shit and they never re-released it. Why not play Tekken, Smash Brothers, and Pokken? I just said the question was classics. So if you want to change the question and say, okay, forget classics, what about more modern games? I've already answered this question. The reason that I play classic Street Fighter every week is very simple. I grew up with those games in arcades. I played them competitively, and I have an innate, deep-rooted knowledge of how those games work on a basic level. The fundamentals, I know the fundamentals of classic Street Fighter. That's why I can play those games. Even though I'm not good at Alpha 3. I'm terrible at Alpha 3. But I can get wins because I know the fundamentals. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, I would argue at one point I was actually quite good. Now I'm not as good. I'm probably average. Super Turbo, I'm pretty damn good. All right? But the thing is, I know enough about those games to jump in and have fun. It reminds me nostalgically of back in the day playing those games, and it's a really cool nostalgia trip for me every week to play them and show off my skills and share that knowledge with you, because every week people ask me questions about matchups and things. I'm able to share that with you guys. I love doing that, okay? Older franchises, I don't have that knowledge. I just don't. Now, you're asking me, oh, why don't you play Tekken 7? I did. I played Tekken 7 for about a month and a half, 2 months after it came out. I enjoyed playing through it, and then after that, what happened is the skill level went boop, and I didn't have the time to dedicate to play enough Tekken 7 to hang with the players anymore. I was getting bodied every time I played it online. I was getting owned. And I didn't understand why, and it's like, because I had to lab, I had to practice, I had to do that. I'm a variety streamer. I'm not a fighting game player. We talked about this earlier on the show. I'm not a one genre gamer, okay? And I'm not someone who has that kind of incredible amount of time to dedicate to one style of game. If I was, then I would. If I was just a fighting game player, I would play them all. I'd be playing Melty Blood right now. I would have played Strive a few months ago. I would have played every new Tekken, every new expansion. I would have done everything. I'm not. That's not me, okay? So if you want to see fighting game stuff, when a game's new, great. Join me when a fighting game is new, and I'll play it for that month. I'll play through the campaign. I'll do online for a while. We'll have a good time with all the different modes. But unless that game really grabs and puts its hooks into me, most of the time I get bored with it within about a month, and I don't want to play it anymore. And the truth of the matter is, my audience is kind of the same. Unless it's a game that I really get interested in or whatever, a lot of people just say, drop that and do something different, okay? Will I ever play a fighting game, a modern fighting game that gives me that bug feeling? You know, get the bug game. Yeah, I gotta play that game again. I want to keep playing. Maybe one day. Maybe Street Fighter 6 will be an homage to the classics and play more like Super Turbo and games like that. And if it does, great. I would argue if it even played more like Street Fighter 4, I'd probably like it a lot more and play it more. Street Fighter 5 was the furthest thing from what I would even consider a competitive fighter, from the way that it was implemented from launch all the way now to the end. The game just isn't appealing to me in any way, shape, or form. It really was made to be a game for easy mode players, online play, catering to pattern players, not the people who have innate skill and execution and can react to things, but instead people who can play patterns. I don't like that kind of fighting game. I never have. I don't like that at all. I like, in the spur of the moment, you react to something going on the screen and you can, boom, blast through it with a counter hit, or you know what I mean? Now, I guess that this guy might throw a move out, so let me throw out my high priority move that may counter hit him and guess. Not guess, I'm not a guesser, I'm a reactor. That's how I am in fighting game. So for me, I don't see that in modern fighters. I see guessing, and I don't like guessing. So because of that, I don't like modern fighters. If another fighter comes out that's not like that, I'll probably like it more, and then maybe I'll adopt it. But for now, I play the classics. Those are the ones that I like. Okay? Okay? Oh, man. Mix Fuentes says, why don't you try Tatsunoko vs. Capcom All-Stars for the Wii? They have Frank West, Zero, and a playable character, Saki, from MVC1, who was a special partner. I missed out on that because that was an era when, admittedly, I wasn't actually playing as many fighting games. I had stopped playing competitive fighting games, and I was doing more at-home stuff. That was like right before the era when I became a YouTuber. Those 1-2 years when I was playing a lot of RPGs. I played GTA 4. I played all that. I was skipping fighting games during that period of time. And so I didn't really care about that game. And it's funny because a lot of those characters ended up being in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. They kind of imported them in there. But it just never appealed to me. Plus, I don't know anything about Tatsunoko characters. Project 2319 did a super chat and says, have you heard of Alan Jackson, the country singer? The name sounds familiar, but I don't know much about them. I don't know. I don't know much about an Alan Jackson. Thank you for the super chat. Ladies and gentlemen, that's about it. We're wrapping up, my friends. I want to say thank you. You've been a great audience. And you've been very supportive. This stream was a very supportive stream. Even at a time when the tips weren't working, you guys were very supportive. Screw Goji Tanks to another $2. Said you should play Virtua Fighter. I love that game. I'm in Wolf and Lei Fei. Good to miss on the Nickelodeon Fighter game. Oh, good miss on the Nickelodeon Fighter game. Looks like a poor man's Smash Brothers, which is what I figured it was. Not to say that that's a bad thing, but I just didn't think I would have enough time to dedicate to it this time of year anyway, so it would be a waste of time. Within 2 weeks, everyone would have labbed the fuck out of the game and destroyed every attempt that I tried to press a button, so why even play it? In regards to Virtua Fighter, I liked it, but I hit the wall. I played it to the point where I was playing it 2-3 weeks, and I was only able to play it once or twice a week tops at night. And basically, everyone else had surpassed me and was whooping my ass because I didn't have time to lab and learn matchups and do things. Again, I'm a variety streamer. I can't just sit here every day playing the game. You know what I'm saying? So, because of that, There's not much I can say. All right? Thank you all for your support. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode of Ask the King. I did. The next episode, as I said, will be in December. I don't know when. It could be early December. It could be right before Christmas. Usually I do it as like a Christmas special kind of a deal. So maybe we'll do that. Okay? But I think we will think about it over the next month or two and find the right place. By the way, the thread is already open. If you want to post up your questions for the next episode of Ask the King, you can type !Ask the King in the stream chat. Or you just go to my forums, thekingoffaith.com. It's already there, ready to go. So you can start posting up for the next show. Okay? Fair enough? And you know what's funny? One final thing I will say. Some people will probably criticize this show and say Phil did not use Ask the King to debunk everything said about him. You're right, I didn't. I've legally been advised not to even bother with shit about like this anymore. That at this point, it's gone so far that malicious federal crimes are being perpetrated against me. There's no debunking that will help. Just fucking move on and ignore it and do positive stuff on the streams, because anything that I address would just come back to bite me anyway. It's not going to help. That's what I've been told by legal counsel. But in addition to that, the funny part about that was nobody asked. I mean it. I had open forum questions. I had members who could post up. We had Twitter questions. Nobody asked. You want to know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because no one with a brain in their head cares about the drama. People don't come here to my streams to hear about drama about me all day. And those that do are brain-melted morons, fucking worthless idiots who don't belong on my content. And I don't want them on my content. We're not here to talk about drama all day. We're here to have fun. I answered a bunch of great questions, right? Good stuff. And it was a great time. Okay? So, how fun was that? Versus if I just talked about drama all day and then wasted my time because it doesn't ever satisfy these fucking malicious idiots and criminals, right? So what's the point? That's the thing. The people who are intelligent don't care. They hear this drama on the street like, who the fuck cares about this? No one. I'm not here for that. I'm here to have a good time with Phil. Fuck off and leave us alone. And that's my mentality moving forward too. Fuck off to those who want to fucking mess with my life. I'm here to have a good time, and as you've seen, you're never going to change that. I'm still going to be here every day, putting out quality, fun, interactive content with people. They're still going to support my content no matter what you say to me or about me, no matter what you slander, no matter what you do to me. I'm still going to be here. So you're just bashing your bare head against a brick wall. One day you're going to hurt yourself. So recommendation is to stop, move on. I know that people won't, though. I know how the internet is. I know how obsessed these people are. But I'm just happy that we're having a good time with games. It's the busiest gaming season of the year. Every day we're sitting here having a good time together, right? That's what it's all about, man. So thank you to those who are here for the ride and having a good time with me, and don't care that we didn't talk about fucking drama all day during Ask the King, which would have been a complete waste of everyone's time. I appreciate that so much. And thank you all for sticking here with me. It's really been awesome. Past couple of weeks have been rough, and you guys made it a lot more bearable, that's for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Thanks a lot for watching Ask the King. Until next time, peace out.